30-second warning. Teachers, faculty, parents, students, graduates, grandparents, live stream. We are beginning in 25 seconds. If we can kill the music, even though I like it very much, we're getting ourselves focused and ready for the graduation to begin in very short time. All right, that's fine. Perfect.
That was the starters. I don't think that was a mistake. That's why they came. I know.
Oh, okay, they're both here? All right. All right, I was just kidding about the 30 seconds. That'll be my joke for the opening. Because I got to start with a joke, right? Rabbi Goldberger, please tell David Newhouse as soon as Kobe Tsur is coming up to speak, you should go sit down in that seat, okay? That's the only thing I need to know. It's 9209. 9209. I'm sorry, 92.9 is the correct technical term. Thank you, IT staff, for correcting me. I literally stand corrected. Okay. Good afternoon, parents and graduates. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the graduation today. As I said in the previous two shifts of our graduation, the fact that we are here is nothing short of a miracle. And for all of you graduates out there, just think your graduation could have been on Zoom. But through the mighty efforts of many, we are here celebrating your graduation in as much person as possible, as we are still practicing social distancing together. I just have a few quick points to share with the parents and the students. Being that this is the first time that we've done a car graduation, parents were asking if you can please make sure to remain in your vehicles throughout the duration of the graduation. We do have a photographer on staff. We'll be taking pictures of your son as he is speaking and receiving his diploma. We also ask that a graduation, even though there is much festivity in the air with the balloons and the music, but it is a very important time in your son's continuation and growth in his educational experience, so we ask that you do not honk horns. Certainly clapping is appropriate at the appropriate times, but just to remind us and remind ourselves, if we have cell phones on, you might want to turn it on to vibrate, although we won't probably hear it, but we really want your undivided attention. To graduates, we did not practice this together, so we're really counting on you to make a flawless transition on the following areas. Number one, the bag that you received when you came into campus has a water bottle. You might want to use it. There's a face mask that we're asking you to use when you come out of your car and sit down in the seat. You certainly should not be wearing your face mask when you're up on stage. You will be on stage alone, so you can speak regularly, unencumbered by a face mask, and the picture as well will be without your face mask. Also, there's a program inside of that bag, which is just to remind you of the alphabetical order that we are going throughout the last part of our graduation. So we are going to count on you boys to make sure that if there is an empty seat in front of you, that means the bank of cars to the left or to the right of the video screen, that you fill it up in the appropriate time and the appropriate place. We will try to signal you if you're not sure, but I will tell you, no pressure, the last shift was awesome. They did it without any reminders. So let's see if we can get that done here as well. Finally, there is much to experience, and therefore we're going to go right into the graduation. We have a lot of surprises and very meaningful things to share. And with that, I officially begin the graduation Tufshin Pei 2020 graduating class of the Rohr Middle School, as they will virtually enter the graduation square. Kindly turn your attention to the video screens.
תלכי אלך, ובאשר תליני אלין. עמך עמי, עמך עמי, עמך עמי, ואלוקייך אלוקיי. עמך עמי, עמך עמי, ואלוקייך ואלוקייך אלוקיי. כי אל אשר תלכי, אל אשר תלכי אלך, ובאשר תליני עלי. אל אשר תלכי, אל אשר תלכי אלך, ובאשר תליני עלי. אמן.
Welcome, everyone, to our graduation, Roar Middle School, the graduates of 2020. Just a moment before we get into the graduates, we take so many things for granted. I know the boys are going to be speaking about that soon, but all of us take so much for granted here at the yeshiva, and we could not pull off an event like this without so many people's collaboration. First, and I think this is very special, you know, here we're so dedicated at the Roar Middle School, but this event came to be because of the unbelievable connection and collaboration that took place between the members of the early childhood, elementary, high school divisions and the middle school all together, talking about what we could do to embellish, enhance our graduations. So what you're going to see today is a reflection on the fantastic collaboration that is taking place. There are some people that if we didn't mention their names, I think that it would be a void. You would not know all the people that worked for this today. And so I think it's important for everyone to listen. First, I must recognize someone that is, I think, Superman and Hercules put together, and that is Rabbi Wiener, and what he has done at the forefront in preparation. And I see, Rabbi Wiener, that your instructions didn't get out so clearly. Next, we decided on our graduation 2 months ago. The date was sometime in April. And in that moment, that's when Mrs. Goldglantz got into full gear. She has been unbelievable in driving us at every stage. We should compromise nothing this year. And I want to say that Mrs. Goldglantz has been the glue behind everything happening at the middle school. And she drove us all to the high level that you're going to see today. And I want to thank Mrs. Goldglantz for everything she has done, not just this graduation, but for every single graduate and family and all of us. The beautiful compliments of this graduation square that you see is thanks to the hard work and ingenuity and creative design of Mrs. J. And I want to thank Mrs. J and all the parents that got behind her to help. We appreciate it very much. Also, I can't even believe that I'm standing here in a state-of-the-art stadium, and that's thanks to Mr. Chata and his whole organization and team, from photography to camera work to the technology and the sound and the FM. What can I say? Just unbelievable. They built these stages for us. Thank you. Also, something that we all take for granted when we want to do an event. We take for granted that there's going to be security and parking and people that are totally invested. And for that, I want to thank Rabbi Zev Roth, our campus manager, someone who has totally partnered with us to make this event unbelievable. Also, I want to thank Mr. Isaac and his crew for being here with the greatest spirits and a smile to make everything happen. We have probably the best IT department in the world, headed by Avram Eliezer Friedman. And what's amazing about Avram Eliezer is that he doesn't wait till we call him. He tells us that we need to do this is what I could do for you. And they've been there, and he's expanded the division and department. I want to thank him for everything that you see here today. We would be nothing without all these support people in place. Some of the video presentations that you already saw and you're going to see later on are so impressive, and that, again, comes from Mrs. Goldglanz's love for every graduate. I'm saying that because I can't even find the right words to express what she does for every single one of us, the administration, the rebbeim, and the faculty, and the families and the graduates. Today, the final video as the boys, their recessional as they proceed out officially, was put together by Rabbi Matti Rosenberg, who was really our graduation consultant. And I want to thank him for giving us his time at all hours of the day and night, mostly at night. By day, he has a day job, but at night he turns into a monster of what he can do for us. And I want to thank him for taking all our calls. Finally, the educational piece at the Rohr Middle School are entrenched with the Rock of Gibraltar, and I want to thank Mrs. Berry, the General Studies principal, who has not wavered even slightly. She spends all day and night worrying about the academic achievement and growth of every one of our graduates, and it's thanks to her that we have not only not fallen back on the educational piece, not only have we maintained what we hope to maintain, but we have far surpassed our expectations this year in every area. And I want to thank Mrs. Berry and the entire General Studies staff for, what can I say, it's pure dedication and commitment. When Mrs. Berry asked the General Studies faculty if they can come to one of the graduations, they all said unanimously, we will be here for all the graduations. They wouldn't miss a beat. You cannot find that anywhere. So I just want to thank the tremendous dedication of the staff. Finally, and I say finally, but achron chaviv, the heart and soul of our yeshiva is our rebbeim. They not only take our vision and mission, but they implement it in every moment that they teach and that they model. And the last few months have been just purely inspiring. I mentioned earlier that Rabbi Wiener and I share Mrs. Goldglantz and Mrs. Berry also, but Rabbi Wiener and I have the best seats in the house. And I don't mean today. We had the zechus of going from classroom to classroom in the mornings and watching learning on the highest level with all the boys, and it's just absolutely inspirational. And I want to thank the Rebbeim for raising the level of commitment to Torah learning, and to that I am deeply indebted. And all our Talmidim, but especially the 8th graders, I don't think you can appreciate how much your Rebbeim did. And I hope today we'll be able to share that. And I'm so thankful this year to invite one of our beloved 8th grade Rebbeim to speak to us on behalf of all the Rebbeim, and especially for the 8th grade Rebbeim to share some reflections as we move into this special moment. So I'd like to give kavod now to Rabbi Yaakov Moskowitz to represent the 8th grade Rebbeim. Rabbi Moskowitz.
Thank you very much, Rabbi Palgon. Rabbi Palgon asked me to speak for 3 minutes, but since this is really my only opportunity today to take my mask off, don't be surprised if it goes a lot longer. Bershus, the Rosh Yeshiva, all the Menalim, the administration, all of our incredible staff, the parents, and of course, the Choshev Talmidim. You know, there's a few words to describe today's graduation. Unique, one of a kind, really special. And on one level, that's talking about the fact that we're having a graduation in a parking lot. We're watching a graduation from LED screens. We're sitting in our cars with the air conditioning on, or at least some of us are. That's true, but I'm referring to something much deeper. Unique, one of a kind, really special, are referring to each and every single one of you. This class is a group made up of 49 boys, but it's not a group of 49, it's 49 individuals, each one unique, special, and talented in their own way. Each one brings to the table something that nobody else has. You know, the Mesilas Yesharim at the beginning, he tells us something unbelievable. He tells us if you want to achieve greatness, if you want to achieve really high levels, you know what you do to get there? You have to understand ma chovaso be'olamo. You have to understand what is his obligation be'olamo, in his world. And Rav Volbe Zatzal explained those words so beautifully. What does it mean, chovaso, his obligation be'olamo, in his world? What does that mean? He said because each and every single individual is special, each and every single person is talented in their own right, and each and every person has their own strengths, their own talents that they bring to the table. And if you want to achieve greatness in this world, if you want to truly accomplish, the Mesilas Yesharim is saying you have to understand your talents. You have to understand your capabilities. You have to understand the strengths that you have and maximize those at every given moment that you have. And while this year has had some challenges to it in the last 3 months, every single person over here, every single one of these graduates brought out that truth and that reality. I want to share with you an unbelievable story. A number of years back, I was learning in yeshiva in Eretz Yisrael, and before we were leaving, before we were headed to the airport, we remembered a few days earlier, we did not get a chance to see one of the great Gedolim of the time, Rav Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg. And we so desperately wanted to see him, so we called up his gabbai, and he said, listen, if you get into a cab right now, and you come over here, there's another American yeshiva that's having a question-answer session with him, and you could join in as well. We said, great. So we got to that cramped apartment, and we all stuffed in there. And the first question that was asked of Rav Scheinberg Zatzal was, can any member of Klal Yisrael become a gadol? Anybody? And he looked at us and he said, yeah, of course. You just need one thing. And we're all wondering, what is that one thing? What is that secret? He's probably going to talk about brain power. He's probably going to say that you need to have mastered Shas at a young age. No. Rav Scheinberg said to everybody, you need a watch. You need a watch. And everybody was astounded. What does he mean? And his son said to him, Tati, the boys don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean that they need a watch? He said, if you want to truly accomplish, you can reach godless. But if you have a watch, and you're constantly looking at the time, and utilizing your strengths, utilizing your talents to do what Hashem wants of you at every given moment, then you truly can reach greatness. And my message, my bracha to all of the Choshev graduates today, all 49 individuals, is that you should take the talents that Hashem endowed you with, those special characteristics that all of you have that are unique to you and only you, and continue to grow, continue to accomplish for many years to come. Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov.
I would like to take a moment to recognize one of our Rosh Yeshiva who came to join us at the commencement exercises, Rabbi Naaman Shlita, thank you very much for being with us. And just a public service announcement for all of the boys. I did not mention it before. There are stools on either side of the stage. When you come up on stage, please be careful. It'll be fine, but just tread lightly.
Welcome, everyone. It's a great honor to be able to introduce the third and final section of the 8th grade students of the Roar Middle School to come up and present their speeches. I would like to thank Rabbi Palgon, Rabbi Wiener, Mrs. Berry, Mrs. Goldglantz, and all the outstanding RMS faculty and volunteers that made today possible and created such a warm learning environment at RMS. In previous years, a specific topic was assigned to each student to research and speak about at graduation. Towards the middle of this year, we were asked to research one gadol who inspired us. However, when COVID-19 came and abruptly seized all of regular school, drastically changing many people's lives, it seemed as though it would be a missed opportunity to not reflect on this time. Throughout the school year, we each have discovered that no matter what the situation, Hashem does everything with a purpose. Yet amidst this pandemic, we have all questioned the purpose of this virus and what can be learned from it. Every one of us has been affected in some way. Every one of us can take away a positive lesson to grow in our Torah values. As Rashi so beautifully states with regards to the obligation of dismantling a house with leprosy, Ve'al yedei hanega notzei tabayit umutzan. We experience aras not just as a punishment, but as a means to dig deeper in order to find our inner gold. So too, the COVID-19 pandemic has given us each an opportunity to find our spiritual treasures. It is my great honor to now present the last section of the Roar Middle School class of 2020 to come up and bring a new light to these troubling times.
Zusha Licht.
Today, the entire world's normal life is suspended because a tiny virus has infected people in almost every corner of the planet. Just like a tiny pill can take care of the biggest headache, this little invisible virus has changed our lives in a way that is totally out of comparison to its size. We cannot take our future for granted. Our lives have changed drastically, and moving forward, we cannot expect that tomorrow will be the same as yesterday. As Jews, we must always look at the bright side of every event, and we must take a lesson out of this for our lives. What is the lesson? If such a small virus can affect our world in such a big but temporary way, then my small mitzvah or act of kindness can change the world in a big but permanent way. Because the energy of a good deed never goes away. It only grows and becomes bigger. Thank you.
David Newhouse.
The coronavirus pandemic has had a great impact on me. I am now able to better realize how much Hashem protects us on a daily basis. In this time of uncertainty, it truly helps to know that. During this coronavirus pandemic, I am learning more about how viruses work. For example, antibodies can be found within the virus itself. While there is still uncertainty about whether someone can contract the virus in any form more than once, I'm hopeful that we will see a drastic decrease in cases in the very near future. In the beginning of this pandemic, the number of deaths was projected to be much higher than the number that actually died. I realize it's only because Hashem is protecting us every day that the death toll isn't much higher than it is.
Naftali Rosenberg.
In my opinion, the whole COVID-19 pandemic happened because nobody respected one another to the right degree. Just as in the times of Rabbi Akiva, Hashem caused the Magefa, a plague, that killed 24,000 of Rabbi Akiva students in 1 month because of their lack of mutual respect. From this, I learned that we should increase our respect in many different ways. First, we need to show more to Rebbeim and teachers who always deserve the utmost respect. Next is to respect our peers and even random people we see in the street. Thirdly, we should respect shuls, yeshivas, and other makamas kadoshim, holy places. Finally, we should respect our moedim, special times, Shabbos, Yom Tov, and even Rosh Chodesh. This is my spiritual takeaway from the coronavirus pandemic.
Shimon Ravner.
Ready? We sometimes think we're in control of our life, but we're not. We thought we needed to go somewhere or do something, but coronavirus changed our priorities. What we need is to be safe and spend time with our families. Physical distance from friends and family does not determine closeness. The Torah calls the family krovim, which translates into close ones. The lesson is, even if we're far physically, we're still close. With all the unknowns of this world, there are still a few things we can rely on, which are faith, family, and friends. The lesson is that Hashem is in control of our lives, not us. We have to remember that.
Kobe Salzhauer.
What I've learned spiritually from this pandemic is how Hashem can make the whole world shut down with something that is smaller than everyone. This experience has taught me that we should not take anything for granted. I really appreciate all the things I had before this happened. This experience has challenged everyone, and I realize how important my family and friends truly are to me. This pandemic has affected so many people, and I have learned from this that you shouldn't take life for granted, and Hashem controls everything that happens.
Benjamin Salzman.
Okay, start now? I've learned many things from COVID-19, one of which is patience. And I realize the amount of patience I have apparently isn't as much as I thought. During this quarantine, I've been working on improving my midos. For example, Shalom Bayis, which requires being more tolerant. It has helped me deal with spending so much time with my sisters. Without it, I'm not sure how I or they would have survived. I've also learned to appreciate being at school. I'm realizing that working at home is actually harder because it feels more relaxed, even if it's not. Being at home, I also have a new appreciation for our teachers and my family. They are working harder than ever at making this long-distance learning thing work. This hasn't been an easy time for any of us, but I know personally that I have grown and plan to continue growing from the experience.
Mordechai Tzvi Schreck.
One of the positive spiritual lessons that I learned from the impact of the coronavirus pandemic is to appreciate how Hashem controls the world. As students, we were expecting this school year to end with a graduation trip, and then go to camp, but Hashem turned everything around. We are not having a typical graduation, nor will we be attending camp. These events helped me realize and really appreciate Hashem and how much control and ability He has to change everything in less than a minute. Therefore, from now on, I will try to daven better with a lot more kavanah and recognize to my davening.
Dovi Schwartz.
The positive spiritual lesson that I've learned from the experience of the coronavirus is not to take life for granted. If Hashem wanted us to suffer from the coronavirus, He could have given each of us the virus. If Hashem wanted us to suffer in any other way, His abilities are endless. Although, Baruch Hashem, we have not been affected with the coronavirus, we did suffer in our own way. I have not seen my rebbeim, teachers, or friends in over 3 months. Over the past 3 months, I have realized that only Hashem has the ability to save your life. This spiritual lesson has made me see life in a different perspective, and it's now clear to me that whatever happens is what Hashem wants. Therefore, I am choosing to daven with more kavanah. This is the main lesson I've learned from this troubling time.
Jonah Shanes.
I would just like to share some spiritual lessons which I have learned from this pandemic. First, we should all appreciate what we have in life. We have technology to help us learn and interact with family, friends, and classmates. We have a home to keep us safe and stores to buy the supplies we need. Second, we should also learn from this pandemic that we have each other to help us through terrible times. We have our parents to teach us the right way to act during this pandemic. We have our amazing teachers and rebbeim to help us learn, and volunteers to help us get through this pandemic. Consider how life would be otherwise. We have so much to be grateful for.
Salo Schneiderman.
Oh, I brought my name. As the days in quarantine pass, my perspective on life changes. What I mean by this is, I realize how important and valuable everything really is. I've grown in my Torah values in many ways, but the one I am working on the most is realizing how fortunate I am to be able to learn and daven every day and to do all the things I can do. Once this is over, I will appreciate everything more because I see from this pandemic that anything can be taken away if Hashem wants it to. The other reason is I hear all the horrible news and it motivates me to daven better for the sick people, and it makes me appreciate my family more and all the things that I have. All the things that are happening now show that before we didn't take the time to thank Hashem so much. But now that this has happened, we see how valuable everything is, and I realize it's a wake-up call to improve. I hope that by the end of this, we all have a better perspective on life, and we appreciate more what we have been given.
Aaron Steinberg.
Due to the coronavirus, my view on life changed quickly. I cannot go outside without worrying about my health, and I am stuck at home all day. I started to think about all the things I used to do daily, and those things were taken away from me. This helped me to realize how much we take for granted each day without even noticing. Therefore, for me to be reminded not to take things for granted each day, I'm going to make an effort to be kinder to everyone around me.
David Suissa.
The one significant spiritual lesson that has impacted my life due to the coronavirus is that I can't take life for granted. When I hear about all the tragic things that are happening to people, it makes me stop and think and appreciate what I have, especially my family. I realize I can be in the same position as anyone else, and my life can change in an instant. There are people who are losing family members, and I am thankful to Hashem that this does not happen to me. The coronavirus boosted my emunah in Hashem because in the end it's all up to Him and we have no control over it. All that I can do is daven and pray to Hashem and ask Him to keep my family safe.
Kobe Tsur.
During this pandemic, I've been thinking about what I can take away from my experience. The positive spiritual lesson that I learned during this challenging time is that nothing is to be taken for granted. We must appreciate every second of this world that is given to us. I learned that every breath that enters our mouth is a miracle, and that every heartbeat that pounds against our chest is also a miracle. After this pandemic, I hope that I will appreciate and thank Hashem for every day that we can go out and feel safe without wearing masks and without social distancing. We must realize what our real purpose is in this world: to serve Hashem. This pandemic is a reminder that we may think we can control everything, but Hashem is the one who really controls the world. All challenges that Hashem gives us are meant to help us stay on the correct path.
Yaakov Waxhaw.
Most important lesson that I learned from the coronavirus pandemic is Halal Karstev of Hashem. During the pandemic, the main water pipe broke in my house, leaving my family without water. Not having water was hard. Each time we needed water for anything, we had to go outside. We couldn't even go to someone else to take a shower or anything else. That's when I realized how much Hashem has given us. There's so many things we can do to remember this moment. The thing I'm going to do is have a little more kavanah when I say Baruch Chayna.
Sruli Wexler.
I have learned many lessons from the coronavirus pandemic, and I would like to share some of these lessons with you. I've been spending most of my time at home with my family these days. Sometimes it's been kind of hard, but most of the time it's been enjoyable. I have worked on my ability to be patient with my family members. I have also learned that Hashem is in control of the world, and whatever happens is for a reason, even if I don't understand it. Given what has been happening all around us, we need to make sure we do our part during these challenging times and help each other get through this. I believe I've grown in several of my Torah values during this pandemic, specifically in having patience, believing in Hashem, and helping those around me.
Ruvain Woolwick.
During this time of the coronavirus pandemic, I've learned a great lesson. The lesson is to be grateful for what we have. I'm truly more grateful now because of this experience. We took for granted what we had before, for example, schools, and of course, friends. I used to go to school every day and not realize how awesome it was to be with my friends. Now that we are stuck at home and we need to be inside, it doesn't take more than a second to recognize how much good we have. We have our families, and we can use technology to continue to go to school and study the Torah. We need to focus on the positive and appreciate the things we have. This pandemic is a challenge we can all overcome.
Wow. Boys, the words that you shared with us right now are nothing short of spectacular, things that we will remember for years and years to come. Thank you. But we've got some words of our own for you, so we've got a bit of a surprise. I'm going to invite the faculty and the Rebbeim and our guests that are sitting on the dais to find a place so they can see the screens, because while you boys were at home for 3.5 months, toiling away, as one parent said, being the true heroes of distance learning, Your Rebbeim teachers put a lot of thought into words and phrases that make up who you are. This multimedia presentation you're about to see is the sum total of their efforts. Now, the slides might go by fast, and you might want to see it again and again. And Baruch Hashem, every single slide, every single phrase, and every single word you will find inside of your yearbooks that you will be receiving before you leave your graduation today. So with the permission of the staff and faculty and Rebbeim, I present to you Greatness Revealed.
Take a drive down the highway of life. Give me 5, my friend. Here we are. We're together again and remembering when we met. All the games, all the jokes that we laughed at, the pain that we shared, and we knew that no matter what came, our bond would remain the same. I can travel down any road, 'cause I know that I'm not alone. I've got my friends and their loyalty. I've got my friends who always see the best in me. I've got my friends every step of the way. My friends have helped to shape the man I am today. All the years, all the good and the bad, you were there, my friends. And the times when I stumbled and fell, you would help me get up again. And the smiles that the memories bring keep me going through everything. There's a song that together we sing, Shevesachim Matov Manaim. I can travel down any road, 'cause I know that I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I've got my friends and their loyalty. I've got my friends who always see the best in me. I've got my friends every step of the way. My friends have helped to shape the man I am today. I'm up and down the mountain, I'm not afraid. I'm hanging with my friends, I know they're with me all the way. I know they're with me all the way. I know they're with me all the way. I know they're here with me to stay. I've got my friends on the sunny days. I've got my friends in the thunderstorms and pouring rain. And when I see them, I know I'm okay. My friends have helped to shape the man I am today. I've got my friends, I've got my friends. I've got my friends, I've got my friends. I've got my friends. Take a drive down the highway of life. Give me 5, my friend. Here we are. We're together again and remembering when we met. All the games, all the jokes that we laughed at, the pain that we shared, and we knew that no matter what came, our bond would remain the same. I can travel down any road, 'cause I know that I'm not alone. I've got my friends and their loyalty. I've got my friends who always see the best in me. I've got my friends every step of the way. My friends have helped to shape the man I am today. All the years, all the good and the bad, you were there, my friends. And the
Mrs. Goldglantz, I think you outdid yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you to all the Rebbeim and teachers for submitting all those accurate descriptions of our amazing Talmidim. To our dear graduates, it is so hard to put into words how proud we all are of you at this very moment. This is really such a bittersweet moment for us as we spend the last days distant yet together here at the Rohr Middle School. You have been an exceptional class since the moment you arrived here in 6th grade. Your class has bonded together as a unit and has raised the level of Limud Torah in so many ways. This year, each of you have also taken on the project of studying the life and accomplishments of a Gadol, focusing on a particular Gadol's accomplishments and ways in which you could emulate them. You have exuberantly digested the teachings of your Rebbeim, and you've allowed us to partner with both of you and your parents as we work together to ignite the great potential in each and every one of you. Our goal and objective at Torah RMS and Rohr Middle School was first to understand your ultimate potential, and then to tap into your own inherent greatness to help mold you into intelligent and sophisticated B'nai Torah as you plan to enter high school. By now, you each understand the true responsibility of a Ben Torah, to always show honor to and raise the honor of the Torah. We are counting on you to always try to place this value in front of you as you meet life's challenges. We are proud of you for the Torah you have learned, for the tefillos you have davened, and the relationships that you have forged with your Rebbeim, teachers, and chaverim. We are proud of you for understanding the greatness you've already shown and the tremendous potential that each of you are also bound to achieve. We are thrilled to present to you this morning, among many things, our gift, which we hope you will open and read when you return home. We hope the inspiration you receive will remind you of our fervent wish that you continue to grow to become intelligent and inspired B'nai Torah, and that we all merit to see that greatness catch and remain on fire in each and every one of you. On behalf of all our Rosh Yeshiva, Board of Directors, Rebbeim, faculty, and staff, I'd like to wish each of you a happy and healthy life filled with all the brachos and blessings that Hashem has in store for those who study Torah and show honor for Torah. You have indeed made us very proud. Mazel tov upon this morning's significant milestone.
With but one last stroke that is necessary to turn you boys from 8th grade graduates into future 9th graders heading on to your high school career and beyond, we are preparing to send you off with a farewell But before we do so, at the end of this farewell video, you will find Rebbeim or faculty members coming by your cars to hand you a grad bag, G-R-A-D, which has, including the gift that Rabbi Palgon had just described, many different things, that yearbook and other goodies that we want for you boys to have. Please make sure that the staff is able to hang it on your side window by your door. Passenger. Okay, thank you. So please keep your windows closed. It's just to ensure the proper social distancing. And with that, we launch our 8th graders of Tufshin Pei 2020 to the future and beyond with the farewell of our graduating class. Mazel Tov, graduating class. For those of you who have not yet left, you have two options. We're heading out to 163rd Street exit, which is to your right. You can either stay for a photo op, or you can head towards the right, go directly to the exit. Have a wonderful Sunday, and do not forget, you have a trip tomorrow. Please wait for each car just in the line. We're just trying to get everyone out safely. So if you can just hold up, hang on, whoever that car is, over just Rabbi Goldberger, just hold them up, okay?